Gather around. It's time for the show to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is...
Hey everyone, my name is Jason.
Hi friends, it's Dennis Rodman.
All right, there were so many matches this year that were just too much.
So this won't be a shocker because we've had a handful of really awesome matches that we just can't stop talking about.
How many times have these guys fought? Like it's been quite a bit.
I've been saying this all year. They're just so great to watch. We saw the heel turn coming, and then when it happened, nice and bloody, both dramatic and beautiful.
You are now entering the ring with Chutes and Ladders podcast. Here are your hosts, Desiree and Jason.
Chutes and Ladders Hall of Fame 2026 Part 2. What's going on, everyone? My name is Jason.
Hi friends, it's Desiree Josen.
All right, we are now on to Part 2 of our Hall of Fame review. And this side of the class, it's a little bit more unpredictable, a little more wild, and you already know we're going to break this down. Des, before we get into it, what are your initial thoughts?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. There's one we were just saying that it's about damn time. And, I'm excited. So, yeah, let's get to it.
I love it. Okay, first person we're going to break down, and just like you said, it's about time. Sid Vicious, a walking powerhouse and one of the most intense presences ever. Multiple-time world champion in WWE and WCW, headline major events including WrestleMania, known for his size, aura, and unforgettable promos. When you think of Sid Vicious, Des, what sticks out to you more, his dominance or his unpredictability?
6'9" with crazy eyes. I love this man. He had a shorter career, but that does not make it less powerful because he was booked amazingly. He was pushed as a main event guy. He main evented Mania twice. He held the championship. His feuds were insane. His promos were great. He was just an overall amazing powerhouse, and he was like a great and one of the last monster heels before the Attitude Era. So he is just a one-of-a-kind beast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, he has the voice, the intensity. He felt like the final boss before that was ever even a thing. And honestly, that chaos around him, it added to the mystique. I think a lot of people remember this when I think of Sid, because I remember at the time reading an old school newspaper. They talked about the scissors with Arn Anderson. I was like, whoa. And it's funny, when he jumped over to WWE, they embraced it and they said, you know what, we're going to call this man Psycho Sid.
Yeah.
I just was like, wow. But I remember him from NWA, WCW. I thought it was the coolest thing that that WWE at the time, or WWF at the time, technically, when they kind of cleaned up the mess and had him fight Undertaker for the title, the skyscrapers, the skyscraper main event. It allowed Taker to capture, a title while being a headliner. I love that match. Listen, I'm so excited they announced that he got inducted.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that if you watched in the 90s, he was always talked about by fans. And one thing was I was supposed to meet him at last year's convention, and he didn't show up. And so we were like, is this common of him? And unfortunately it was a common thing with him, but then we come to find out he was sick, and then he passed away shortly after that. So it's just too bad. And he left a legacy, and he was a good family man, and that's how people remembered him personally. And but I hate how they wait until they pass away to honor them when he would have given one hell of a speech, half the brain you do. So but I love him. I'm a big fan, but I'm so glad he's finally getting the recognition that he deserves.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is another interesting question. We talked about this in our previous episode. Who do you think will induct him?
You know what? He's had a number of guys that he's worked with that are still active or still able to speak on his behalf with their history. So it could really be Taker. It could be Shawn Michaels. I even thought of Booker T. would be interesting.
Yeah, I would love to see Shawn Michaels, because to me that's what put him over in WWE, was him defeating Shawn Michaels for the title.
That's who I immediately, that was number one on my list, because I was like, who would potentially induct him, and Shawn Michaels was number one. Love it.
All right, now let's talk about one of the most iconic celebrity crossovers in wrestling history. Dennis Rodman, major involvement during the Monday Night Wars, key appearances in WCW alongside the NWO, helped bring mainstream attention to wrestling. Des, this one sparks debate. Do you feel like Dennis Rodman is truly a Hall of Fame worthy inductee?
I don't see why not. And you know why? It was just, he was a crossover. It was huge. He was part of the Monday Night Wars. And you know what? Mike Tyson was with WWF. Why not have Dennis Rodman at the peak of WCW's Nitro and then be part of the NWO, which was like the coolest faction you could be a part of. So I think that, yeah, he was a celebrity. He was an athlete. However, he was truly a fan. He dedicated himself into training. So, obviously he was good in the ring. He was a tag team champion for WCW with Hulk Hogan. Even though it was a short career or a short lifespan in wrestling, you still remember him. He was iconic. The Worm. Come on now.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. During the late 90s, wrestling and pop culture were colliding. And Rodman was right in the middle of it. So love it or hate it, you remember it. So, yeah I'm all for this, especially as in the celebrity wing. Why not?
And he also brought more attention. It was sports entertainment rather than just wrestling at this point, because it was mainstream in the late 90s. So he also brought in extra eyes of not only just the media, but also NBA fans that didn't consider watching wrestling.
Well, and on that note, when he showed up to Nitro, that was the day after Game 2 of the NBA Finals. So trust me, people are watching. That was a brilliant business decision.
And he skipped practice to go be on Nitro. So you tell me.
Yeah, I don't know if the teammates liked it that much, but listen, they
did great. They were fine.
Yeah, well, they won the championship. Who cares, right?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't an issue. And you know what? He showed up on Monday Night Nitro, so he's a legend in himself. So
yeah, and funny. And when they had the match, it was against Karl Malone, who they just beat in the NBA Finals. So everything about this, I think this is great.
It's perfectly fine. I'm okay with it. If you don't like it, whatever.
Now we're going to talk about an inductee that truly surprised me. Bad News Brown, one of the most unique and unapologetic characters ever, known for his no-nonsense, no-allies attitude, legit combat sports background, brought a real gritty edge to the WWE. Des, what stands out more to you, Bad News Brown's attitude or how different he felt from everyone else at the time?
I think it's a little bit of both. He was like the Stone Cold prototype, if you can say that. He had the background. He was a judo bronze medalist in the Olympics. And so with his actual background in fighting and combat sports mixed with wrestling, he was a threat. And so, he wasn't, part of those big gimmicky guys of the 80s. He came in as himself, and he didn't have a manager. He didn't have a faction to, fall back on. He was like a lone wolf kind of guy. He was like, I'll do it myself, and I'm going to beat the hell out of you. So when he walked out, he meant it, and you could tell he was like, you look at me wrong, I'm going to knock the hell out of you. And and that's what he did, and I think that's what made him really special compared to these bigger than life guys.
Yeah, he didn't need a faction. He didn't need approval. He didn't need to fit in. The lone wolf energy, in today's era, I think it would definitely hit different.
Yeah, I liked him. I mean, I didn't watch him a lot, obviously, because I was still a child. But when you go back and you see the intensity of him coming out and him in the ring, he was a force.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and again, hats off for WWE doing this. I did not expect it at all. No. Listen, granted, there are other guys I think are guys and gals that are more deserving, but you know what? Hey, overall, they made the right choice.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
All right, now we're going to do Hall of Fame Heat Check Part 2. All right, Des. Most intimidating presence.
You know what? I'm going with Sid.
Same here. I love it. Okay. Most underrated career.
Sid. I'm going to have to go with that.
100%. I really think that people should give him more flowers for sure.
Yeah, he did a lot in that short amount of time, and he was always booked the best. He was a main eventer, so I don't see why not.
Who would dominate in today's era?
I mean, I don't want to say Sid again, but I think he's like the total package. He really is. He's a big guy, and yeah, you know what? I'm going with him. I just loved his character.
Love it. And who are you most excited to hear speak?
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Hey, who do you think is going to induct him?
Eric Bischoff.
Yep, he was on the top of my list. I figured he would be the best speaker of them. If not, I would be shocked if it was Kevin Nash, but that did pop up. But Eric Bischoff was number one.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. All right, and hit me with one word for each inductee. Let's start off with Sid.
Vicious.
Dennis Rodman.
Charisma.
And last but not least, Bad News Brown.
Street fighter.
Love it. All right, now moving on to final thoughts. Between part 1 and part 2, which class are you taking overall? Ooh.
I'm going to go with part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the more notable one. You know, I'm not going to discredit these legacies and the celebrity crossover, but, you know, obviously our first one is going to have, like, the biggest impact.
Love it. And any other final thoughts?
No, I think these are all truly deserved. These were nice surprises because sometimes you can kind of figure out what they're going to do. And I feel like this is really diverse and, you know, very well deserving. So it's a good spread this year.
All right, that actually wraps up this episode. What are your thoughts on this Hall of Fame class? Please shoot us a DM at the Shoots and Ladders. And like always, please like, share, and subscribe both on YouTube and Spotify. Once again, my name is Jason.
I'm Desiree Josen.
All right, until next time, have a blessed day and a blessed week.
Have a great week. Bye, friends.
This has been Shoots and Ladders. Follow us for more content.